So we all know that the Titans are going to look for a new head coach the second the NFL season closes the first week of January. Well, Cam Ward wants to be part of that coaching search, and he wants to have a say in who the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans will be. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper, and I think we should make note that the Titans have 3 more games left before the search begins. I think with Mike McCoy as their interim head coach, and with the fact that they have you have the Chiefs coming up, and then next week you have, I think it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you close the season out. No, next week you have the Saints, and then you close the season out with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You just want to get to the end of the year, but the second the year ends, that's when you start searching for a new head coach. We're going to break it all down throughout the offseason. We're going to make videos nonstop of every single news and rumors that we hear about the Titans head coaching search. So if you want to be up to date, go ahead, hit that sub button right now. Let's talk about Cam Ward's comments just talking about the head coaching search. Here's what he had to say. I want to meet them all. Every coach who's going to get the opportunity to come here, I want to meet them, have conversations throughout the whole process with them, because that's someone that I'm going to be here with for that time. The Titans front office knows how much I want to be involved, and then especially just not even with the scheme part of it, just as the head coach who he is at an everyday basis. And then we'll get into the scheme of what I know I'm good at and what I want to do, what he thinks will also help me. And I will say, that's what something a franchise quarterback should want. This is the guy that's going to make every single decision for you, because he is the leader of the team. He is the captain of the team. The franchise quarterback should have a say of who the next head coach is going to be, because that's the person that you're going to work with the most out of any person. If you have a disconnect between your head coach and your quarterback, it's a recipe for disaster. And right now, I think that Cam Ward and Mike McCoy have a big disconnect, specifically with how conservative they are. But of course, there are some pros and there are some cons to it, to having your quarterback have a deep say in what they want to have as the next head coach. If you have Cam Ward choose the next head coach, here are the pros. You have trust with your quarterback. I know that Cam Ward, if he gets to choose that next head coach, that he is going to trust exactly what is going to happen with the offense, and there's not going to be a disconnect like I talked about. They're going to embrace each other. They're going to bring each other up. They also will connect. And Cam Ward, he can also develop with the coach. If he has a coach that he can trust, and the guy knows, hey, this coach is going to teach me. This guy is going to get me to my level to where it can be elevated. And also the same thing. The coach has trust in Cam, because he obviously wants to coach Cam Ward. He sees the franchise quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. For the cons, do you really want to have a guy that has only played 17 total games? And I put an asterisk there because obviously we haven't gotten to 17 games just yet, but the head coaching search isn't going to start until after those 17 games. So Cam Ward, do you want a guy that has only had 1 year of experience in the NFL? And also, with Ward, he's an offensive guy. He's a quarterback guy. He's going to have some say in, like, yeah, this defense could do this and that, but he doesn't know specifically the ins and outs of what a Mike backer does. Maybe that ex-head coach would. He's going to focus solely on the offense, on how he's going to get better. And also, there might be a possible disconnect with the front office. If Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker want this guy, Cam Ward wants the other guy, and Cam Ward has the full say in it, well, then the GM and the president of football operations is going to have a disconnect between your quarterback. And that is also a recipe for disaster. So there's pros and cons to it. But the number one thing out of this whole entire search, once you find your next head coach, you got to develop Cam Ward. The number one priority is developing him to become that next star quarterback in the NFL. You do not want to find somebody that is not going to care about the development, not bring him to that next level, because then he's just going to be a bust and you just wasted all this time. And what is the biggest thing about developing a head coach? Well, it starts with the head coach. It starts with a guy that can trust the quarterback. It starts with a guy who knows the insides and outs in football. And we can see that with two new head coaches that became head coaches of their new teams this year. One, the Chicago Bears. And you can see this year, it's a little bit different between Caleb Williams, but they're winning. They are winning. The completion percentage is down, but Caleb Williams has 3 more games to go, and he's most likely going to throw more touchdowns than he did last year. He has a better QB rating. He's going to pass that yard mark. That is, he's taken the next level and looked good. And you even see a bigger difference from 2024 to 2025 with Drake May. If you look at New England, and I know we don't want to talk about New England because they have Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel used to coach in Tennessee, but you can see clearly with the new head coach, Cam Ward, Drake May's stats has gone from the completion percentage up, yards up, touchdowns up, interceptions less, and the QB rating has gone up. Both of these quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Drake May, have taken major steps in their second year with the new head coach. You need to replicate that from what the Bears did, what the Patriots did, and use that to your advantage for Cam Ward. Cam Ward going into his second year with a new head coach, possibly a new offensive coordinator too. We'll see what happens. But if you can replicate that from what Chicago and what New England did, you'll have success. My opinion, I think that Cam Ward should have a say in the coaching search, but I don't want him to have all the say. I want Borgonzi and Brinker to have the final say. Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker seem to look like they know what they're doing. I don't know if I fully trust Cam Ward 1 year into his NFL career to choose that, but we'll have to wait and see. But I trust Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker to make the right decision. You tell me, should Cam Ward have a say in the head coaching search? If you don't think so, give me an M for no. If you do think so, give me a Y for yes. Like I said, I'd say in the middle. I think he should be able to interview the head coaching candidates and give his say, but overall, it should be up to Borgonzi to make the hire. Coming up on the back half of the show, the Titans also are going to have a high draft pick. Right now, they're choosing at number 3. But one of those top prospects that everybody says could be going to the Tennessee Titans is losing a lot of momentum. Who that is? Well, we'll tell you after we talk about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. It's the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, all happening at once. And when you and I are out here making decisions every single day on what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right. Prize Picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets out to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash those winnings before the game even finishes. And I made a lineup involving Thursday Night Football, and you also got a max discount on the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua match. Anthony Joshua, all he needs is one total punch landed. That's it. And then for Thursday Night Football, I think JSN is going to go off. Give me the more on that one. And I think Matthew Stafford going into Seattle, give me a little less at 232.5 passing yards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's talk about this prospect. And it's Miami. He gets to play in the college football playoff coming up, but he's falling. And Ruben Brain Jr. at one point was considered to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. In a lot of mock drafts, we look at Dane Brugler. We look at PFF. Most of them have linked the Titans to Ruben Bain. And why is that? Well, because he's an edge rusher. And it's no secret that the Titans need an edge rusher. Arden Key is a veteran, but you could use a little extra on that one. You traded away Draymond Jones. You drafted Femi Oladejo, but you need someone on that opposite side, and Ruben Bain could be one of those top guys to be the next great edge rusher in the NFL. But the guy who writes The Beast, Dane Brugler, and he is a college football NFL draft expert, and he made this tweet. He said, it will be one of the more polarizing prospects in this class. I talked more about it on today's podcast that he made. Plenty of day 2 grades from NFL scouts. Well, he was supposed to be the number 1 pick, right? Viewed as a defensive tackle by several teams due to his size, 6'2", 277 pounds, 30-inch arms. That is the main thing. The length of his arms is declining his draft stock. And then I saw another tweet. This comes from Ryan Roberts, Rise and Draft. And it said Miami edge Ruben Bain is reportedly going to measure with sub 31-inch arms. And they made a list. Since 1999, here is the list of edge defenders with arms 31 inches or shorter who have had a double-digit sack season or made a Pro Bowl. Well, where's the list? No, that is the list. It's 0. So his draft stock was going all the way down. And he's had solid stats this year, but for being an edge rusher, I mean, I'd kind of want to see more from him. Only 4.5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss. The tackles are pretty good, though, but for sacks, though, I want to see 4.5. Or I want to see more than 4.5. I want to see double digits. You're playing in college football, for crying out loud, and you're playing double-digit games. So you're averaging less than 1 sack a game when you're supposed to be the number 1 pick in the draft. This is kind of concerning for me. This is really, really, really concerning for me. Because if he's not an edge rusher, and they're saying that, yeah, he's going to have to transition from an edge rusher on the outside to going inside at defensive tackle. Well, guess what? The Titans do not need him whatsoever. They don't need a defensive tackle. And why? Well, because you have one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL with Jeffrey Simmons. You could say, oh, Brett, well, you got another guy right there. Well, T'Vondre Sweat is just as good too. So, I don't know. I'm not drafting Ruben Bain if he's transitioning from edge to defensive tackle. That's just not happening. You need to address your weaknesses, and that is the edge position. But I also look, there's 2 other edges. We've talked about it on mock drafts before. From Auburn, for Keldrick Falk, and you also have Ohio State's Arvell Reese. Those are 2 guys that are probably going to be very, very solid NFL players. And if Ruben Bain has to go into the defensive tackle position, well, then you draft one of these guys right here. I don't know. We'll have to see once the combine gets here and see how long his arms are. But before that, I'll ask you guys, would you draft Ruben Bain Jr.? Give me a D for draft or give me a P for pass. I think I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to pass. Let me know down in the comments section. And while you're down there, also hit that sub button. Like I told you, we got you covered throughout the Titans head coaching search, so you don't want to miss out. And as always, tighten up.